What's up, guys? Welcome back to SelfMade. I'm Grant and this is Chris.
And today we're going to be talking about the consequences that are going to happen to you if you don't know what to do with your life.
The society that we're living in right now really tends to tell us what to think, what to do. We watch the news, we watch TV, and we're infiltrated every day with all these ideas and thoughts of how we should be. And so really what we're being subjected to is what we should be, how to be, rather than thinking for ourselves. So what we want to encourage you to do in this video is to break out of that and think for a second how you can take control of your life and find your own purpose so that you're not being directed by somebody else's purpose.
You know, there's a lot of people here because of what we teach about how you can make money on YouTube or how you can live a life of passion filled with doing what you love and sharing that online and turning that into a business. But at the end of the day, the reason why it's called self-made is because Grant and I mean, do you remember we were in the theater room in my basement, we're having this conversation about, okay, what we're talking about here is way bigger than YouTube. It really is far more in alignment with purpose and passion and being proactive and being motivated and living the life that you want. And one of the things that I know, Grant, you really take a strong stand for, and I agree, is that it's no one else's job on this planet to lift you up. It's no one else's job to motivate you. It's no one else's job to make it happen for you. There is this entitlement issue, however, that society's message has pushed on us, which is, hey, someone's going to save you. Someone's going to make it happen. Someone's going to show up. And in the end, that spark has to ignite from within.
I want you to reach out and take accountability for your own life, take responsibility, because there's really only two types of people in this world, those who are proactive and those who are reactive. The thing about life is things are going to happen no matter what. There's going to be consequences. You're going to be subjected to challenges that you don't want to be a part of. The difference is if you're proactive about a goal, you can actually help define and choose what consequences happen to you. Whereas if you're just being reactive and you're just going with the flow, then whatever happens to you is happening to you, and it's more of a victim mentality.
Yeah, so this other video that we produced about finding your purpose in 20 minutes or less, I mean, I think therein lies so much of a solution to figuring out, hey, what do I want and what's the motivation that's going to drive me to get what I want? But too often I think that we get stopped, Grant, because people are afraid of the risk. And I think society has done a really good job creating a picture of risk that actually might be completely 180-degree opposite of the reality. For just a moment, take a look at this. We think that if I start a business that there's risk. And the reality is there is. Like you could lose the money that you put into the business. You could lose time. There's an opportunity cost of what am I going to miss out on by the choice that I'm making. But so often we get so paralyzed by risk that instead what we come to really think is that the best or the way to eliminate a risk is just by not taking one. And yet all that really does is later in life is lead to regret. And a lot of regret that says, wow, I wish I could go back and I wish I had really taken this opportunity. I wish I had risk. And here's the funny truth about risk. You could lose if you take the risk. But if you don't take it, guess what risk that is? You're guaranteed to never get where you want to go. And you have to pick which, would I rather having a chance of getting where I want to go or zero chance? Because taking the risk is what opens up the doorway for both reward, but also things going bad, but at least there's a chance.
The only stupid questions are the ones that you don't ask. I mean, if you don't put it out there, you're never going to know. And I heard a story one time. It was really insightful to me, but it was called The Dash. And it was this poem all about your birth year and your death year and that little dash in between. If you were at your funeral and you were hearing what people were saying about you, what would you want to hear them say about that dash? You know, Grant Thompson and Kris Krohn, you know, born in the 80s, lived until hopefully a very nice long life, but what happened in that dash is what really makes the difference. So when you think about your own life, if you were at your own funeral, what are the kinds of things that you want people to say about you? I think if you really get into that and you think about that, that helps define kind of what your next life purpose is. And what is it costing you if you're not taking the risks to make those kinds of things happen? If you're sitting back and letting the world happen to you, you're just being swept along with somebody else's plan.
You know, it's interesting, Grant. I actually felt like I was on that path and I had someone sweeping me along that path. I was on a family vacation out in Oregon and I was in the ocean with my sister and I almost lost my life. The ocean became too much to bear. My sister was getting pulled out to sea. I went in after her. Long story short, it was an incredible, miraculous wave that came and brought us all the way back in when I thought there's no way we're going to make it back in. And that moment in my life has given me some serious pause for contemplating why am I here? And if I'm going to live, it better be because there's a purpose or a drive, a reason, an expectation, and something that ultimately I need to figure out. And that, since that day, has really been a huge driving force for me to create value, spend time with my loved ones and family. And sure, I screw up, I'm a very imperfect being, but I'm trying to figure out this thing called life and living.
Now I want to use a little airplane analogy. With 11 years being an airline pilot, I got to see a lot of really awesome systems. The one that we relied on a lot was called Autopilot. And the way Autopilot works is very unique because you plug in a destination, say Chicago O'Hare Airport, and as we're flying to that destination, we have a lot of forces acting on us. We have turbulence and upper winds, we have humidity changes, density, altitude, and we also have the flight controls of the airplane are different, you know, the way the hydraulics maneuver, what systems are working. But the autopilot's job is just to monitor the destination and constantly make corrections. If you ever think about the way an airplane flies, you think it flies straight to the destination. But really what it's doing is it's doing millions of micro corrections along the way. Every time it realizes it's off, it corrects a little bit because there's a firm purpose and a destination. Now I want you to think if you had an airplane with no purpose, no destination, and it's up there flying around in the currents, where's it going to end up? The answer is it's going to end up wherever it ends up. You know, it's going to get blown this way, it's going to blow in that way, it's going to run out of fuel, it's going to land in some field. You never know because there's never a predetermined purpose. So it just goes with whatever is happening. That's called being reactive. So if you're proactive with your life, if you figure out where you want to end up, what you want to do with your dash, what kind of impact you want to make in this world, and what in this world you want to go out and claim and have for yourself, then at least you've got a destination. And your own internal GPS can help you make those constant micro corrections to help arrive safely.
You know, I think, Grant, that is the thing that I love more about this YouTube platform than anything that we're so often talking about, is because it's created a creative license and room for so many more expressions of passions, of gifts, of talents and abilities that otherwise don't really have a place in the world, or you're hoping that someone discovers you. But on YouTube, you get to discover yourself, and you get to help people that resonate with you find you. And it ultimately is going to come down to, I couldn't have a YouTube channel or a business or a number of things in life until I firmly figure out what is my destination and what is my purpose. And that is our invitation for you today is, listen, instead of living a life that is going to guarantee to lead to regrets or missing out or not having had a chance to get what you wanted because you were too busy living someone else's thoughts or dreams or ideas or just going with the motions like Grant's been talking about here, wherever the winds will take you, it's so worth it for you to do what others would call nothing by just sitting down and asking yourself some thought-provoking questions for you to gain clarity on what you want. We did shoot another video on how to find your purpose if you haven't had a chance.
In 20 minutes or less.
You're going to want to go back and watch that because we ask 4 specific questions with an activity that we believe will help you in 20 minutes or less really discover what that higher purpose is.
Because if you find yourself without real direction, without real purpose, if you feel like your thoughts are being fed to you, if the media is telling you what to think, how to react, how to do things, I want you to think about what that's costing you. You know, where are you going to end up as a result? What opportunity costs are you subjecting yourselves to? We want to invite you to just take life by the horns, write a menu of what you want your life to be, and figure out what it's going to take to go get it.
Do you want to know the consequences if you don't subscribe? It's not good. You better ring that bell a couple of extra times. Listen up. Listen, if you ever get a chance to get live with Grant and myself, come out to one of our events. We're going to take time always, and we're going to talk about your why. We're going to talk about what's going to drive you, what's going to motivate you. Go ahead and click the link, head over to our website, Get Proactive, and see how we can get a little bit of FaceTime together so that we can share with you more of our thoughts and ideas of helping you know what it is that you can do, the value you can create on this planet, and then how you can share it with the whole world through YouTube.